Hello, hello! Welcome everybody to another live development streaming Thunderbird live development hacking coding session, whatever that is. Welcome! How's everybody doing? What time is it? As usual in your place, I already know Dramen is 2 a.m. and you should definitely be asleep because yes, real coders never sleep. Because after a couple of days, it just collapse on the street and they're not able to, I don't know, function like regular human beings. But welcome everybody. Thank you for joining this live streaming. My name is Alessandro, whatever you want to call me, and I'm the lead UX architect at Thunderbird. And today we are going to do some live coding at Thunderbird. First, I want to show you some progress because we just released, we released a few weeks ago, actually a month ago, version 91 of Thunderbird, 91.1.2, but we have the ability to delay or stop the automatic updates for some systems because, of course, whenever we release a new ASR, we take a little bit of time to gather some feedback from users that they actually manually download the new version, and we fix some annoying bugs. And now that it's pretty stable, we haven't had any major reports, so we decided to open the flood, just open the gates and let the masses get the update. So we are on 91. There's already some people in the chat, which I love. Thank you so much for joining this live streaming. Drama, it's always good to virtually see you. Henry McDonald, hello, how's it going? 8:30 p.m. Like, where are you guys located? Where are you folks located? Piyush asks, does the A on your cap is for Angular? No, this is the Asahi Japanese baseball team in British Columbia, Vancouver. But I love this hat because it's Alex, it's my name, so there's an A. Or I'm a superhero because I have a cap with my initial letter, whatever. Avery's, hello, welcome. So speaking of sleep, I haven't slept much last night. I went to sleep actually at 2 a.m. coincidentally, Dramen, because I had a meeting with some folks from Europe, and it went longer than I expected. So I'm so tired. I'm extremely tired. I don't know what's gonna happen today, but it's good. Okay, we got people from Serbia, from India, all around the world. I'm in Canada, so it's beautiful to connect. Also, this is the kind of like newish setup. Oh, this light is burning my hand. This is kind of like the newish setup because I'm gonna release a video soon about the new studio setup that I did. I rebuilt my studio, I renovated it, I just destroyed a couple of walls, the ceiling, I redid everything. And now I'm decorating finally. So what do you think about this little Tux guy here? This is so handy. Just I have the this is a camera. I have the screen here, so I'm looking at the other side to take a look at how I look. So it's very disconnected experience, but it's fine. All right, let's jump right into it. First of all, as I said, Thunderbird 91 has been released. And let me switch to the coding part of this awesome stream. My God, I'm so tired. What are you guys drinking? I just have water. I had already 2 coffees and they didn't do anything. Literally useless caffeine. I'm so used to addicted to caffeine that it's just lost its power. It's useless. It's terrible. Oh, also, fun fact, the other day I was walking my dog in the morning and a guy stopped me on the street and he called me, and I turned and he basically turned his phone and there was my YouTube channel on his phone. I got recognized on the street, which is it was awkward. It was nice. Like, he was very nice and was very polite, and but it was super awkward the first time. Never happened to me. So yeah, I'm a celebrity now. Oh my God, where's my Lamborghini? Give me a Lamborghini, man. What are we doing here? Okay, so Thunderbird the new version. So currently I'm on trunk, so it's the latest and greatest, not greatest, but it's the latest releases on daily. And the current daily, I think, is Thunderbird 93 or 94 or something like that. If we check the help about dialogue here, yeah, Thunderbird 94.0.1.A1, so it's the alpha version, but it's not too much dissimilar from Thunderbird 91. There are a lot of improvements. The majority of the improvements in this version are in the backend. We did a lot of work in the backend to deprecate all libraries, implement new and faster libraries, better support for OpenPGP. We have a currently work in progress new address book in a tab with this new. I did this. This is like a little animated new 3D widget. It seems very stupid, but it took a lot of time, and we have like the new ability to sort and display things, and when you click on contact, it opens in the same tab. You can edit, and it doesn't open a dialogue on a dialogue on a dialogue to edit everything. Everything's line. You can see it's pretty rough around the edges. We need to fix a lot of things. This is like the first step of implementation. The new address book is hidden behind a preference. You can enable the preference if you want to test the new address book, which is pretty sweet. What else? Some improvements in the composition area, really like new icons here. We have now the ability to clear the text styling. The attachment area has been improved also from an accessibility point of view. Now this is using details HTML5 tag element, which is standard readable by every screen reader. This is not anymore a Zool custom element, something super crazy. So it's pretty neat. A million other things really, but yes, you can check the release notes of Thunderbird 91. What we're gonna be working today is, if you guys remember, if you've been following me or you checked the previous live streaming, we work on the set up an existing email account, an existing address in a tab. And we worked on this. You can see the previous live streaming because we started from the design, and a lot of you helped me in defining some specific section of this design. And then we did the full implementation, another full implementation. It's working, it's stable, it's inside, it works amazingly. It's fantastic. It has all the little neat things that I love. But right now, what we need to work on is the new get a new email address, which if I click on it right now, it opens this horrible thing that is a little bit of background. So this thing was built, I don't know, like 20 years ago or something. And up until 2 years ago, last year, was written in jQuery. We still pushed jQuery into a Thunderbird just for this thing, which is insane. What this thing does is basically it gives you the ability to purchase a new email account from our trusted providers, something that we have like a deal with them and we veto them, so we know they're trusted and there's no issues. Right now we have Gandhi that offers also domains, and MailFence, which is pretty like known email provider. So if we click search, look at this beautiful search animation. The little spinner gifs has been from a lot of, yeah, wonderful. And we show this thing with the options that you have. You can click and expand if it works. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't. Look at these buttons. Look at this gradient on these buttons. It's just mwah, mwah, mwah. So Italian. You got this little thing. If you select an email, for example, okay, I want this email. We show the pricing. And we open and collapsing. It's just so random, this dialogue. But if you click on something, you select it, I guess nothing happens. Great, doesn't even work. Okay. Jesus. So this is supposed to open another dialog tab, actually another tab where you go through the checkout process of MailFans, or if you select Gandhi, let's see. Oh, this works. Okay. See, it opens what you selected, and you can continue inside a tab inside Thunderbird. And after you're done, you're go back to the account creation wizard that now was closed because apparently we closed it, and we show a success page. It's horrible. It works very badly, and we don't have much traffic. Like, not a lot of users are actually using that because, of course, it's not very discoverable. It's terrible, looks dated, it doesn't work all the time. So I'm working on fixing that. Let me rebase my account provisioner patch, and then let me pass this. And the logic of fixing that is basically follow almost the same things that we did for the account setup. So instead of having it in the dialog, let's move it into a tab. Let's use the same exact UI because it's a solid, consistent UI. And also let's try as much as possible to avoid to have these user interface jumping left and right and opening dialogues, closing dialogues, opening different tabs. Is just shenanigans. So we are trying to achieve that. And this is the work in progress and the current result. Also, while I'm building, it's going to take it just a few seconds. As usual, I'm going to talk through these while we code, and I try to fix all the things. But if you have questions, just write in the chat. I will read everything, but after maybe I take a break after coding a little bit. So whatever question you have related to Thunderbird, related to coding, related to my new studio setup, which you cannot see, but there's a little guitar here that pops out. I'm planning to attach the guitars on the wall if I don't tear down the walls. We'll see. Anyway, we compile, and this is what I've been working on for the past couple weeks. So if we go directly into get a new email account, boom. First of all, the UI is very, very similar to use an existing email account. In fact, if I click use an existing email account, it just opens the other tab, which is very, very similar. Same, but different. Get a new email address, it opens up. And first of all, what we did here, we separate the different type of providers. We're planning hopefully to have more trusted providers that we can list here, and you can select which one you want to search from. But here there's a good separation because MailFans only offers emails. Instead, Gandhi offers also custom domains. So if you're just interested in an email or a custom domain, you can do the specific search. And then when you search one, the other one just disappears. So for example, if I search for MailFans here and I click search available, blum, the UI updates. What it's missing here, it's a little success confirmation notification, like, hey, we found it. And these are all the results that are coming from the server. We have an API for each of these providers, and these are the information I'm returning. If you select, for example, this is, I don't know why MailFans returns always this. This is like an advertisement row for potentially for like if you don't find anything with your name, you can click on this and just have a generic something like that. But if you have this, for example, you select this, oh, I like this, free trial, boom, we load it into a tab, the actual sign off process, and we send your selected whatever. Select a name, whatever you type, also first and last name, you can type everything. This is your email account. You complete this setup, and after you complete the setup, you go back to the creation of the email account, which is pretty standard. It's not complete by any stretch of the term, so we need to work on this. First of all, we need to create a successful notification account. We need to create a better UI for the results. Right now, the UI, it's a bit wonky. It's not great. Like, I'm just listing here things. The buttons are not properly aligned. This doesn't look like a good list. For example, if we do here, especially because Gandhi has many more results here. If I search these, look how it looks. It doesn't look good. It definitely doesn't look good. So we need to define this something better. Maybe we can show just 4 or 5 results and then having a quick link to show more results. We need to deal when there's no price here. So it's, yeah, this needs a lot of work. So let's get to work. We got some question. Go back. German asked, do you have to have 2 inputs? I mean, can't you have one input, 2 tabs as defining active search provider? 1 input, 2 tabs? Yes, we could, but then we don't want to do that because we are planning to extend this list and we want to keep the clear separation of between just an email provider and just also a custom domain. It's quote unquote easier for us, and it's also is different from, like, let me show you what we had before. Oh, if in case there are more providers in the future, yes, we're gonna split that. We're gonna better handle this, especially since if we have more providers in the future, this little thing here, get a new email address. If we have more providers, like we have 2 or 3 rows of providers, then we risk to create a hierarchy that we don't want to have. Like if, for example, we have 5 providers here, then the this section of purchasing a new domain, it just gets pushed down. So it might end up below the fold and the user has to scroll to see the other. So we want to avoid that, but we don't want to deal with that right now. Right now we are mostly interested in the next step. And also having one, it was kind of like the solution that we had before, right? Update master. Let me recompile. The solution that we had before is just we had one form field, one simple search field, and then checkboxes to select and deselect which provider to use. But that added some strange complexity that it's kind of silly to maintain because that section is not, it wasn't very used. We had some telemetry probe that are helping us taking these educated decisions based on what we see. But here you can see if I uncheck mail fans, you see the text of that privacy policy in terms of services. It's hidden. But then if I deselect both, the last one remains and the search is not disabled, but you can continue, like it doesn't do anything. It's like we had all these strange things. So having this thing of select and unselect which provider to use is like if you're on a search page and you need to select which search engine to use. It's kind of weird, right? So that's why we decided to let's split these 2 because we're planning to have more, and then we, at least if we have 2, we can create like 2 tabs, or we can create a better visual organization because these are already separated. So we can have maybe get a new email account, get a new domain, 2 completely separated forms in 2 completely separated pages based on what the user needs. It's just an experiment mostly, nothing is set in stone. So yeah. That's it. But yeah, good point. Avery's asked, will you have regional trusted providers? For example, Posto, if you're in Germany, etc. We would love that. We would really love to do that. It depends on the regional trusted providers if they want to have a deal with Thunderbird. But yeah, that would be great, actually. And we can already do that. I think on Gandhi, it returns the pricing and the suggested domain space based on your localization. So if you're in Italy, it returns .it. If you're in UK, it returns .co.uk as first results, which are pricing in your locale. So it's, yeah, we already have that mechanism in place. Avery's, do you have data on how many people actually create a new account through Thunderbird? Yes, we have data, and it's very disappointing. It's very, very low. It's not good. That's why we are... so it's not good because, first of all, that little account is not really exposed anywhere. That only is exposed only when you set up a new account. Not only, like primarily when you set up a new account. Like you set up an existing account, but if you start typing an email, if you type an email, that little link disappears because it's for keyboard accessibility. If you already have an email account and you're filling up your form and then you hit tab, you don't want to... Oh my God, so tired. God, I'm so sleepy. Yeah, you don't want to accidentally... You don't want to focus on the get email account. So, for example, if you don't have any email account and you hit tab, it just goes to the get a new email account and you can hit enter and access this page. But yeah, it's not great. Avery's, yes, you thought as much. Driven said, because both search providers look for a keyword to do the query. My concern is if user confuses that they need to fill both inputs, since technically they are not doing the same job. Do a search. What? Well, yes, we want the user to fill up two different forms because, for example, if I want a male fans email account, I want something at my name. So maybe I want something Alex dot last name at mailfence.com, and then I can get Alex last name at mailfence.com. But maybe, and most likely, I don't want my domain name to be my first last name. Last name. I think this domain already exists. Firstlastname.com. Yeah. I don't want to have like firstlastname.io as a domain name. Some user might, but it's very unusual. Usually a domain name, it's something, it's not your full legal name. Instead, your email address, it's most likely your full legal name, especially if you want to have something professional. So that's why the separation, we want to keep these separation of concerns to have two different forms so you can type two different things. And if you want a domain, you can define what domain name you want. If you want just an email, you can define what email you want. Oh, I need to reset the form here. Oh, I don't need to reset the form. But anyway, let's start coding. Been chatting a lot. I'm already tired. Using cancel to edit. What is this? So edit dialog, should prompt, save change to edit event dialog. Okay. Boom. New, get a new email account. Okay, so what are we doing here? We are accessing the account provider, account provisioner.js, and then we have the account provisioner.xhtml, which is the page that we need to style, the account provisioner.js. Then here we need to update a bunch of things. I have already a partially reviewed patch from the technical director, so we need to fix some things. So first of all, we have a comment that is not necessary anymore because we are using this script provisioner, command provisioner here. We are including this JavaScript file in the messenger.xhtml. The messenger.xhtml is basically the main file that loads the entire Thunderbird UI. And we have this silly comment here. Hey, this file depends on special tabs, so it should be below. This comes from a time where file dependencies and extending classes in JavaScript wasn't really a thing. So, hey, we're doing something strange, so be sure to put a file underneath another file. Now the file structure and hierarchy it's pretty standard. And also, if you try to put a file above another one, it just, your entire application crashes, so the tests fail and blah blah. We don't need that comment anymore. It's pretty silly. So this is done. Then we got in the account provisioner, just little nits to put these XSL in the yes, account provisioner, window type. Count utils. Let's put it last. Just going through very simple quick fixes and comments. This is done, this is done. And then we have some string to change. Count provisioner.ftl. We use Fluent for our string, which is pretty standard. We need to purchase a new secure email account. Purchase for someone sounds strange, so we can use buy and use secure email account, and we can use buy as well. Buy a domain on your own, of your own. Buy a new custom domain, buy a domain on your own. Sounds strange, I don't know. Other partner with Gandhi to offer you a custom domain. I hate strings. I hate copywriting. This lets you use any address on that domain. Lets you create. This lets you use any address on that domain. I don't know. We'll see. It sounds strange, but whatever. Then we got an error message here. Unable to communicate. We are sign up servers. Sign up servers. Sign up servers. Plural. Okay. I'm deleting everything. Checking. Okay, I think we got everything, all the feedback here. Okay, it's pretty standard thing. This is the most boring streaming ever. You guys, you guys like dying of boredom. Okay, so first of all, what are we gonna do here? We are going to we need to decide what we want to tackle in this session. What are we tackling in this session? Also, random question. Would you go through a domain or an email address purchasing process inside Thunderbird? Is it something that we're gonna just release some telemetry, we're gonna do some user testing to actually identify if this is something that the users are interested into, but this is this is something I'm curious about. I don't know. Okay, so so here, first of all, what we need to do is show a success notification. So once we show the results, we need to pick a success page. So we have a method show error notification, which is this. We need to show a success notification, which is this one. So show success. Wow. Success notification. And in this case, we need to pass a bunch of attributes because we want to reuse based on the different type of successes we have. Is message error, notifications message, string name. Okay, we don't need a string name. String name, right. That's always clear in the notifications before doing anything, so we avoid having dismissible. Okay, wow. I love reusing code. Instead of notification message, we make this async because fluid is asynchronous, and then we await, we document. What was that? L10 format value. Yeah, show error notification. We should what I'm saying, like Fluent, I don't know if you ever use Fluent, but Fluent requires asynchronous calls to format the value of a string and to fetch the actual string from the Fluent file. The thing is that we are trying to avoid unnecessary asynchronous call because we call an asynchronous call from an asynchronous execution, and that opens up a can of worms. It's always better to avoid it if we can. And Fluent offers the ability to use set attributes in order to get an element, set the attributes, and then that string, you can set the string attribute from Fluent in a synchronous way without using asynchronous calls. But for a notification, I don't think there's the possibility to do that. But the format value, we're trying to step away from that. So adding another method that uses the format value is not, it's not the best, but whatevs, whatever. It's kind of annoying. I think we can do a next iteration to change this later. But account provisioner success, and I have some classes here. Success, title success, where is it? Oh no, message bar. Message bar, yes. Okay, type success. Green, type success. Okay. Reminder bar pop-up. I think it's just success. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Oof. Maybe I'm gonna get the third coffee today. No, this no. Success. Okay. Stop loading. Account setup success. Do we have something? Account setup success. Okay, that's just the name, but we are setting the success type. So we use the CSS here. Success host type. This CSS is because the notification, it's generated in the shadow DOM. So we need to style the host and apply this message bar in JavaScript to the shadow DOM. Otherwise, we cannot style it easily. So yeah, fun stuff. So I'm gonna add this type attribute to my freshly created success notification here. You have a type success, and the notification shouldn't be dismissible. And the string name show successful notification is something like this. Notifications, we use account provisioner results found. Email results found. Email address. What type of message do we want to write? This is a message that should say like, hey, we found, I don't want to put the count in the notification because as we saw, mail fans sometimes, no, sometimes, all the times returns this, which is not an actual result. It's not an actual email result. It's just a generic. So even this one is incorrect. Like 2 available addresses found is not correct. So we should remove the count actually here, but also the notification that appears here, we should have a generic like email addresses found, search completed successfully, something like that. Okay, let's put something generic. Found something. Now we're gonna get back to it. I don't want to get stuck on this because it's just silly. Show success notification. So now the show success notification should happen only when we show the results page. Results. On mail form submit, clear, populate search results, populate search results, populate, say update the UI should have fetched address data, clear notification, blah blah blah, this is good, and then return count. Okay, but this is for on mail form submit, so we need to do it for the email. Data if count. Okay, so if after this notification, so we know that we have some results to show, we can show success notification, and this is the string that we want to show because it's for the emails. And then we need to do exactly the same on domain form submit after this, but in this case, the string would be domain result. So we need to write something for the domain, found something, found some emails. And then we do found some domains. Yes, this is peak copywriting. This is like something very, very good. We can deal with that later. It's fine. This is just, we need the placeholder to see the notification that shows up properly styled, and it's actually, it makes sense to show a notification for a successful search results, something like that. So if I do this, boom, found some emails, yeah. Okay, these should be available addresses found. Actually, let me see how did we handle in the previous, like, what's the string that we were using in this horrible thing? Search. Hello, Halicat. So we reuse the same string. The following email addresses are available to you. You can also search for nicknames or any other terms to find more emails, which we reuse down here. But yeah, this message, following email addresses, this is not really an email address because you're actually buying a domain, so this message is incorrect. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, something like available addresses found for quote unquote keyword. Yeah, something like that could be done. It could be done. We have the technology to do this. Yeah, this is very bad. Look at this thing. I love this type of design of a box in a box in a box in a box, with your buttons that are also in a box. It's beautiful. Okay. Yes, here available addresses found. Yeah, let's do this. So we can send the search result here. Yes. Okay. So we don't need the count here. So instead of the count, we can have and we can put bold. No, actually, we're already here. Term. You can do something like that. Variable term. This is a string. The search term typed by the user. Available address is found for term. Column. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so we don't need the count here, but we need the name, which is the search result that we have here. Term is the name. Okay, this should do it. Let's give it a try. Oh, also, we are hiring a Thunderbird. I don't know if you're a developer, front-end developer, back-end developer, you like C++, JavaScript, maybe a little bit of Rust. You're a full-stack engineer because we need to rebuild our website. We need to do a lot of work on our web infrastructure. Just apply. We are growing. We have money to pay you. And yes, we are aiming to redo these entire email client from scratch and make it look from this era. Okay, yeah, available addresses found for Alicat. This is good. This is good. I like this. This makes it better. Okay, found some emails. Maybe this search results. Okay, yeah. Okay. This needs a little bit of styling. We go back, we need to clear the notifications. Okay. Go back to setup view, clear about time, and then we need to clear notifications because we don't want to have that problem. Okay. The clear abort timeout is amazing because all these requests are done via fetch requests, right? Wait, fetch, yeah. And the fetch has to have a timeout with an abortable controller, and creating a self-aborting asynchronous fetch today, it's super fucking easy. It's just amazing how easy it is. Basically, on startup, you create a new abort controller, which is just globally available. It's just a JavaScript API available in the browser. You create an abort controller, and then you attach, whenever you do a fetch request to a URL, you attach the signal of the abort controller to the fetch request. The fetch request has a signal attribute. You attach that. And then after you do this fetch request, you start a timeout. And a timeout is basically literally you set a timeout for a specific time. Here, the connection time should be like 15 seconds we do. And after this set timeout of 15 seconds, you can call your controller and say abort. And all the fetch requests that they have the signal, the abortable controller signal attached to the signal attribute of the fetch request will be automatically aborted. And I'm storing this timeout ID here because I want to clear this timeout if the fetch is successful. So we have a start abort timeout and we have the clear abort timeout. And I check the clear if there's still a timeout defined. So a set timeout was set, just clear the timeout, so interrupt whatever it's happening, and also nullify this timeout. Otherwise, it's going to remain DID of that timeout. Even if we clear the timeout will still be defined. So these conditions will not work and we will start collecting timeouts. But it's very easy. So you do a fetch request that literally with 2 lines, you can make it safe and can be aborted with a predefined timeout. It's just lovely, so lovely. All right, let me update. It's been already 45 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break. Do you guys have any questions or any doubts, or do you want to take a look at something else about Thunderbird? Do you want to talk about something else like design development or whatever? Did you look at my latest review? Also, actually, quick question. How is the streaming looking and how is my audio? Because I just finally bought an RTX 3070 and I was using NVIDIA, I was using AMD before, and AMD doesn't have a good streaming software, a good streaming library, so I was using the CPU to do the streaming. But now with NVIDIA, I'm using the NVEC encoding library of NVIDIA, which should be better. In fact, my CPU is at 1%. Before, while I was streaming, my CPU was like at 30%. It was very annoying. And also I changed the location of my changed the orientation of my macro. I put it like horizontal gangster style, so it just doesn't block as much. I can code without having this massive black thing on my face. I can look at it here, and when I point down and I talk in the microphone, it's more direct. Before it was kind of like skewed, so I had a lot of this type of thing with the audio going on and off, but now it's more, it's safer. But yeah, we'll see. Let me save a bunch of things. Let me save all these things that I'm doing. HDA commit command. Okay. So a couple of things in terms of what? in terms of this live streaming related to Thunderbird. With Thunderbird, spoiler alert, I'm working on a design system to redo the interface completely from scratch, and we have a pretty tight and crunching roadmap for version 103, which is going to be released next year around this time, around August, September. Our goal for next year is to have Thunderbird to just leave 1996 vibes behind. So that's the goal of the next version of Thunderbird. I will be using this live streaming to show the whole process. And the whole process means once the design system is approved, I'm going to do an overview of the new design system. We can discuss it together. We can analyze some parts. And then we will start working on the front end of that each section and try to improve along the way. But also, I want to use this live streaming also to show you how you can code, compile, build Thunderbird for yourself, do an artifact build which removes all the C++ code, so you can basically compile it super quickly without the necessarily having a super powerful computer that can compile for hours and hours. If you do an artifact build on Windows, it just takes like 5 hours. It's just insane. But we have the ability to compile Thunderbird without compiling the C++ code, so you just compile basically JavaScript, HTML, and strings, and it's way faster. Because I want to involve more contributors to Thunderbird, because Thunderbird is the last open source, free and open source email client software that doesn't spy on you. And I know it looks outdated, it looks clunky. It's a bit overwhelming. It's a lot overwhelming when you use it the first time, especially if you're used to something like a Gmail or a macOS application like the default email client. Now we are basically all used to these type of very minimalistic interfaces that are clean and easy to understand. And Thunderbird has a lot going on because Thunderbird has a lot going on effectively. Thunderbird has a lot of features, like a million features that you can do a million different things, and we're supporting a million different type of email accounts. We're supporting pretty much every type of email account that is out there, even not just also RSS feed, news groups, IMAP, POP3, Exchange. What are we supporting even? Like, I don't know. We're supporting a million different things, and it's hard because one email is not just one email. So it's just very, very hard to accommodate everything into one single UI, but we're working very hard to improve these and make it keep the same amount of functionalities, keep the same amount of features, but make them more discoverable, easy to digest, easy to use, and an interface more pleasant to use, even for newcomers. So my goal with this live streaming is going to be also to educate other developers to, hey, you don't like something about Thunderbird? This is how you can easily fix it and easily change things, or do a bug report that will help us out a lot. So it's, yeah, that's my goal for these live streamings. Other than that, yes, I'm gonna try to share as much as possible. The good thing about being an open source project is that you can share everything. There's no hidden data or no secret data. Of course, the only thing that I'm not gonna share are the password or the secret API keys or the API tokens for our OAuth authentication, like all this kind of stuff. But everything else is just free and open source, and you can see everything and it's happening there, and you can help shape up the software the way you want it, the way you use it. Yeah, I'm very excited about this. Especially, I cannot wait to be able to share these new design. That's why I'm super tired. Yesterday I did a meeting that ended up at 2 a.m. It started at 11 p.m. and it ended at 2, so 3 hours of meeting, because I was presenting to the other managers the new design, and we were discussing it a lot, and there were a lot of ideas and a lot of, no, this should be changed in this way, in that way. So yeah, balls. It's heavy stuff. But yeah, it's like Thunderbird is a really bright future, and I'm so excited about it, and I hope I will be able to involve and excite other users to do that. Yeah, that's the goal of it. Thank you, data analysis and stuff. Lovely handle. Draymond, just notice your cam sometimes adjust the focus. Yes, it's the it's the Logitech C920. I've been using this camera for 5 years now, and sometimes it freaks out, but it's a pretty clear, I don't know, it's pretty clean, right? Pretty clean streaming. I was thinking to upgrade the webcam, but I don't know. Do I really need that? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, other than that, on this channel, I will start again doing some WordPress stuff, because that's important. That's my roots and bones, and I don't want to forget about this. And then I'm going to do some more videos about generic development things, like why I think the next video that I'm going to publish is why I think Windows sucks balls. It's a criticism on the usability of Windows, because I've been forced to use Windows with this laptop here. This is a Lenovo, I don't remember what type of laptop. What is this? Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 5. So this thing has like 8 gigs of RAM and an 10th gen i5 processor. And Windows is slow as fuck. It's like, it looks like this computer is ready for the landfill for how slow it is. And I just bought it. Of course, it's not the latest and greatest hardware, but I just bought it. It costed like $900, almost $1,000, including taxes. And sometimes it's barely usable, and this is all because Windows. I put Linux in it, just test it, and it flies so much, and just Windows is so fucking slow. So I have a video criticism about Windows coming up, and other than that, on this channel I'm gonna do some more generic things about development and design, and try to get back up to speed, because I've been renovating my apartment, so I didn't have much time to do a lot of videos. Avery's, now that I finished my master thesis, I can probably take a look at helping out with Thunderbird. Oh yeah, awesome, thank you. What master thesis about? What? You a developer? Do you wanna join Thunderbird? You wanna apply? We're hiring. Oh. Buy PC hardware and install macOS. Hackintosh. I used to have a Hackintosh. It's not really worth it. You know, Apple goes the extra mile to create issues. So it's not really worth it. Also, I have a small MacBook Pro, which I use for testing, but I don't like. All the tools that I use in my workflow, it's on Linux, so I don't need macOS software. Also, with the NVIDIA graphics, now I can use DaVinci Resolve, which is my favorite video editor, and I can edit my videos with DaVinci Resolve, which is way better, above and beyond Adobe Premiere or even Final Cut. Like, DaVinci Resolve is the shit. So yeah, just use it. Avery's computer science. Yeah, just apply to Thunderbird. We're looking for people like you. You recently ranted on Twitter about it. Yes, I did a small rant about Windows on Twitter because I was in the middle of just using it. And sometimes, like, I'm using a compiling code and just Windows just reboots itself. Just like that, even if I disable automatic updates. But every time there's an update, it just resets my settings. It's just insane. But yeah, so I extended upon that ranting, and I decided to do a video about it. Tiago says, can we remove the chat? I just don't use it. Not right now, Tiago, but yes, this is something that with my new design system and the direction of Thunderbird that I want to go is, if you don't use a section of Thunderbird, you can hide it entirely. You can disable the process, but just one click. Like, you as a user, you don't have to do anything complicated. But if you decide to just hide the chat because you don't use it, we will automatically disable all the processes on all the code. We will exclude the chat from the loading startup because of course you don't need it, and we'll do all this sorts of cool stuff. Right now it's a bit complicated. The only thing that you can do right now is like right click on the toolbar, customize it, and remove the chat button so you don't accidentally open it and it's gone. But it's still like the code is still there, like it gets kicked in on startup a little bit. You can still open the chat account. It's kind of weird, but yeah, we're moving towards the goal of allowing Thunderbird to be used not just as an email account, but also as just a calendar app, just a to-do app, just a chat app. So all those email, calendar, chat, tasks, those will be independent, will work together. But if one is disabled, or if everything is disabled and you only use the calendar, we don't bother you with the email account every time you open it. So we are trying to go towards that direction. Avery said, I'm not exactly a web guy, but Rust is where I'm comfortable. Oh, nice. Well, Firefox is moving towards Rust to deprecate C++ and just adopt Rust. So Rust developers are all the rage right now, man. So yeah, good luck with that. Colin, which editor is that? Looks so cool. It's Visual Studio Code. And boop, it's Visual Studio Code. How do I show you? Nope. Show me the menu, man. Yeah, okay. Help about Visual Studio Code 1.60. It's on Linux. I'm using a community material theme to style these, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, it looks. I love Visual Studio Code. It's the only thing that Microsoft does that it's decent. I like it a lot. Tiago, I have to use Windows on work, and Thunderbird is doing better job than Outlook. Yes, thank you, Tiago. This is something that we are very keen in making it happen. Offering Exchange support and being better than Outlook, it's very important to us, and it's tough because Microsoft, especially with the Exchange server, Microsoft is doing everything in its power to make it not open, so hard to integrate properly. That's why right now in Thunderbird you need an add-on to properly use all the Exchange stuff. If you want to sync up your Exchange calendar, your Exchange server, and all this kind of stuff, you need an add-on. But we're moving towards a fully integrated Outlook experience, especially if you have a Microsoft account. Unfortunately, a lot of enterprise users, they have a Microsoft Exchange account, Office 365 account, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, but you shouldn't be forced to use Outlook, especially with the new Outlook UI. It's very bad. It's silly. Like they made some silly decisions that, Colin says, with the colors and sidebar hidden, look completely different. Yes, Colin, I like to customize my code editor. That's why I like Visual Studio Code, because it's very customized. I used to use Sublime Text before, but Sublime Text, it started like all the plugins and extensions that I was using in Sublime Text started getting deprecated because people started switching to Visual Studio Code, and developers and add-on developers. And also Sublime Text, in terms of update cycle, it's fairly slow, which is not an indication of a bad program per se, but knowing that a software is actively developed and it's actively released month by month as a new release, it gives you confidence, it gives you peace of mind. Visual Studio Code is open source, so it's pretty safe. There's some sketchy telemetry in it, but you can use Visual Studio Codium, which is VS Code without the telemetry probes from Microsoft. But I mean, the telemetry in Visual Studio Code are very strictly related to the usage of VS Code. So I'm okay with my usage helping the developers improving the software itself, if they don't try to steal my credit card information or my user ID and sell it to advertisers. The day when VS Code will come with ads in it, I will stop using it. It will probably happen. But yeah, I like the flexibility of VS Code because I can hide tabs and bar and sections, and I can hide everything and clean up the interface and just see what I need to see. Tiago, I had used the theme, it's just beautiful. Dreamweaver, Notepad++, Sublime, Atom, VS Code, where most of that's coming from. Yes, I switched Atom. I opened Atom and then I was like, yuck. It was so slow and hugging my resources, and I don't know. Also, Atom is developed by GitHub, but GitHub is owned by Microsoft. So Microsoft is now actively developing VS Code and Atom, which they are competitors technically. So it doesn't really make sense. I don't know. Also, before switching to Sublime Text, I never used Notepad++. I was Dreamweaver. Then I switched to Adobe Brackets. Do you remember Adobe Brackets? It was VS Code before VS Code. It was so good, but it just died after a year. But it was so good. It was what VS Code it is now. But way worse, of course, because it was like 10 years ago or something. So Dreamweaver, Brackets, Sublime Text, and VS Code. That's my IDE journey or code editor journey, because that's not really an IDE. An IDE is an integrated development environment, blah, 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 blah. So many people, they just shit on me whenever I say I use VS Code as an IDE. It's not really an IDE. Android Studio is an IDE. Xcode is an IDE. Okay. Cool. Well, we've been on this for an hour. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining and for the conversation. You know, I mostly do this because of you and the things that you write in the chat. I love this type of interaction, and I still once I'm back on a regular schedule, I still want you all the ability to join if you want. If you feel comfortable in chatting, we can have a live development chat while I code. We can chat about things, because like Draman, Avery, it's like you guys are very consistent, and I'm comfortable in allowing you to join and chat about development silly things. And Tiago, if you want to be like a recurring guy here, I usually do this around this time, like Thursday morning for me around 11. So it's going to be awesome. Microsoft uses VS Code to collect devs coding skills to feed AI, which is called Copilot. Yeah. Well, Copilot is shit. Yes. Do you see that Copilot was returning like private hidden API token? Suggesting other developers, hey, you should use this API token grabbed from a private repository from another developer. Just yes, stuff like that. Yeah, Microsoft is doing sketchy things. So yeah, it's pretty terrible. All right, I better go now. Thank you all for watching. As usual, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out my sponsor Linode. If you want $100 off the first 60 days, go linode.com/Alicad, and be sure to share this video, help me grow my channel. And until the next one, as usual, happy coding. Bye guys, bye.